Live from the NJ.com studio comes the only weekly TV podcast you'll need, where a lofty critic squares off with an obsessed superfan on everything from highbrow drama to lowbrow reality. The cocktail shaker is ready. Prepare for your TV hangover. Now, your hosts, Vicki Hyman and Erin Medley.
Hello and welcome to TV Hangover. I am one of your hosts, Erin Medley, alongside Vicki Hyman. Hi, Vicki.
Hey, everybody.
Anthony's also here, producer Anthony. He's going to be joining us for a conversation about The Walking Dead.
That I am.
He also sounds like The Walking Dead, so...
It's my radio voice.
So, is that what
he was also getting over a...
late night jazz.
Yeah.
Smoke-filled room.
Yeah.
We get it. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at TV Hangover Show, at @E_meds, and at Vicki High, VICKIHY. We also have an email address. That's tvhangovershow at NJ.com. And speaking of emails, Vicki, we have one.
We have one.
It's so exciting to hear from our tens of fans.
Or twos of fans, actually, I think. Who email us at least.
Jack Lugo, and we can't forget about Randolph Holmes.
Randy.
Who we previously called Ralph. He was not happy about that, but it's okay, Randolph. We know that you're now over it, and we're about to read your email. So Randolph says, if you can just wear Walker's blood in your clothes and not be noticed, why not just walk around like that all the time? And this is just
clearly this is about Downton Abbey.
Yeah, right? General question, like, why aren't we all walking around wearing Walker's blood so we can avoid the zombies? No,
the Dowager Countess does no.
He's talking about The Walking
Dead. And thank you. I have this question basically every single time they get themselves into a situation where they're cornered. It's like, I mean, they did this in the very first season, and of course it was like the one rainstorm we've seen on all, like, 6 whatever seasons of The Walking Dead, and the blood and guts washed off them, and apparently the zombies can smell them. That's how they know that they're there. Smell them or hear them, but not see them. And didn't work so well in the first. Well, it did work well in the first season until the rainstorm. So they decided to do it at the end of the first half of the 6th season because the town of Alexandria was overrun by zombies, and they smeared themselves like a bagel with cream zombie guts, and they tried to escape through the zombie hordes, which did not go so well for some of them. But yes, why don't they do this every time?
I don't know. Why don't they do this every time?
Because
then the show wouldn't work.
Then the show wouldn't work.
Got it. Well, there, Randolph, that is your question. It's not a scientific answer, but it's a Vicki answer. So let's get to some news for this week. It was a big night in music on Monday. This past Monday, the Grammy Awards aired. Did you watch, Vicki?
I did watch. Well, I mean, I do the red carpet slideshows.
Not the same.
Not the same.
Not the same as watching.
No, I'm doing it while I'm watching it.
Okay.
So I do miss certain things about it.
Well, oh my gosh. I wish we had the clip. I really do. But did you see how, so Nancy O'Dell and Kevin Frazier, along with Shad, whatever his last name is,
fish.
Also known as Lil Bow Wow or Bow Wow, hosted the pre-Grammy ceremony on CBS.
I did, and I was watching E!
Okay, well, look. About 2 minutes prior to the show starting, now there's a little countdown clock on the TV, or on the screen, and so Little Bow Wow, he's like inside the Staples Center, and he's like, all right, and the Grammys start now, except there was like a minute and a half left on the
What happened
clock.
After that?
So then he's like, all right, so yeah, we're here and everybody's ready. Okay. And 24 seconds later, he's like, the Grammys start now. By the way, Grammys weren't starting. It was amazing. Third time. He's like, okay, the show starts. I'm so excited to be here. Grammys start now. 30 seconds left. It was so, like, confounding. It was almost as good as the Republican debate where, like, Ben Carson missed his cue. It was almost
that was awful.
Oh, that was so
that
good.
was awful.
I wish we had that clip too.
Yeah.
But basically, so then they threw it over to Kevin Frazier and Nancy O'Dell, and they actually started the show. Like, on time. But
It's so weird.
oh, it was so good. I mean, live TV at its finest. But I should have been watching E! Because we all know that's much better. But in ratings news, according to Deadline, the show, which aired live on both coasts, drew 24.95 million viewers and a 7.7 rating among adults 18 to 49. That's a drop of 9.4% from last year. I'm not surprised.
Why aren't you surprised?
Because I thought it was boring.
Well, that shouldn't stop you from at least tuning in for
The first 5 minutes,
Yeah.
which really count toward the
Yeah.
ratings. That is true. But the opening act was Taylor Swift, and I was like, yeah, that was kind of boring too. So I could see how this would be the case. Also, I don't feel like they had... The Grammys are weird. Some years you're like, oh, I really love this album. Like, I want to see this person walk away with a ton of hits. The big names and the people who were nominated the most were Taylor Swift and I believe Kendrick Lamar. People were really excited about Kendrick Lamar's album, but not a lot of people know who Kendrick Lamar is or, appreciate his music. So that's him. Taylor Swift is a big name, but she was nominated for 1989, which came out
like
in
a year ago.
2014.
I know. It came out like a long time ago.
Yeah.
I also felt like the Grammys have been known for putting together a lot of really interesting combos on stage, and there just really wasn't anything. I mean, there were, James Bay and somebody else.
Tori Kelly.
Yeah, there was nobody I was really getting excited about. And the Eagles, the Glenn Frey tribute, they looked like they were all being propped up there. They all looked angry. Not sure what was going on. I know that they are a fractious band, but don't know what was going on there. It's like, I know you shouldn't be happy that Glenn Frey died, but you should look like you're getting some pleasure out of playing, music in tribute to him.
Right.
Yeah,
well, I think I do agree with you. The collaborations are usually the best. The problem this year with the collaborations, and what's different from some previous years, is that they did people who were kind of in the same genre, and usually they go outside of that, and it's like, oh, we'll take a rock guy and pair him with a country guy, or we'll take a pop star and pair her with like an R&B star or something. This year it was like Carrie Underwood and Sam Hunt. Okay, they are both country artists. Like, that's not that interesting to me. We could watch that on the CMAs.
Yes.
Or when you put Justin Bieber and Skrillex and Diplo, and, Diplo is playing the timpani.
These are all words that mean nothing to me.
Vicki has no idea what we're talking about, by the way. Diplo is a producer, and so is Skrillex, and they both worked with Justin Bieber on the song Where Are You Now? Okay. Vic, no idea.
I know who
Blank
Justin
stares.
Bieber is.
Oh, well, that's good. That's a start. That's a start. Why were you watching the Grammys again?
Because I like to look at the funny dresses.
Oh, is that? Oh, what did you think about Lady Gaga?
The tribute or her clothes?
Both.
I loved her clothes. I thought she was doing a really, really good David Bowie tribute in her clothes. I thought the tribute started off well, and then just sort of got really weird and performance arty and more about Gaga than about David Bowie.
When is it not about Gaga?
When is it not about Gaga? At the beginning, and I love the effect, which I think we learned about from Intel, the commercial that directly preceded it.
Gosh, I saw that commercial so many times this weekend.
Yeah. So, I liked it. I thought it was, it was okay. I would have liked to have seen, I think, more artists. Somebody suggested to me on Twitter that they would have loved to see Annie Lennox up there, maybe doing something.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Annie Lennox performed a couple of years ago, last year. Or Carole King.
Carole King. Really? Okay. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, live podcast recording here. That was my cell phone. That's right.
Carole King would have been awesome in a David Bowie tribute, Erin.
Absolutely. Hello, she has the #1 Broadway show. Speaking of Broadway, what did you think of the Hamilton performance?
Oh, well, I love Hamilton. It was a good way to introduce the musical and say this is what it's about, but I think it was a little too history lesson-ish, and there are better songs in the musical. Room Where It Happens, I cannot get out of my mind.
Well, I will say that immediately following the Hamilton performance, I started listening to the soundtrack again, which I haven't seen the show, but I have listened to the soundtrack in full, and I realized I was like, after an hour and a half on like song 16, and I only had like 35 songs to go. Like, the soundtrack is really long. But the show, from what I can hear, sounds amazing. I thought it was good. I really enjoyed that they did the performance from the theater in New York. The audience there was really into it, which you can't say the same about the audience in the Staples Center. It was like they weren't even piping in the video to that group, because when they pointed the camera back out at the Staples Center audience, they were kind of just like, meh, bathroom break. Like, we're not listening.
They're not Broadway aficionados.
Well, Sarah Bareilles is writing all the music for
That's
Waitress.
one person out of like 10,000 people who are there.
What about Bono and
Two.
Spider-Man?
It's still, I think, do you think Justin Bieber really appreciates Hamilton?
I don't think Justin Bieber knows who Hamilton is.
Yeah. Does he? Okay, let's
And don't tweet that, producer
Okay.
Alyssa. I said it. I mean it too, but I don't want to tweet it.
It was fine. It was really the show was really long.
The show. It's always long.
It's
3.5 hours. It's longer than the Oscars.
It's ridiculous.
Can't wait for the Oscars. Award season is almost over. Thank
And it's
God.
longer than usual because the Oscars not usually this late, and they started off really early. It's just really long.
No, I agree. So Grammys, to boost your ratings next year, make it shorter, have better combinations, and stop nominating people whose albums came out like
a long time ago.
Well, next year, Adele's going to be the one.
Oh, that's right.
So we're going to be like, oh, that Adele album came out in 2015. It's 2017.
But it's Adele.
I know, that's true. It is Adele. So you and Anthony are huge fans of The Walking Dead. It came back this week for the spring season.
The second half of the 6th season.
Yeah, the second half of the 6th season. We're going to listen to a clip from that episode, and then you two are going to have your little chat, because I don't watch that mess.
Okay.
All right.
Who's Negan?
Ding dong, hell's bells. You see, usually we introduce ourselves by just popping one of you right off the bat. But you seem like reasonable people. I mean, you're sporting dress blues, for Christ's sake. And like I said, we're going to drive you back to where you were. And do you know how awkward it is carpooling with someone whose friend or friends you've just killed? Oof. But I told you not to ask any questions. And then what does this ginger do? So that's that. I don't want you to get the wrong impression of me. Wait!
Wait. You don't have to do this.
Shut up.
I am talking to the man.
No. You're not.
Well, they had to do a really amazing opening to sort of get over my hatred of the show for the whole Glenn debacle last season, and it totally worked. I'm sorry, that was an amazing opening. You of course missed, spoiler alert, at the very end of the scene when this guy who represents Negan, who's going to be the big bad for this half of the season at least, is about to shoot
Daryl. Well, not Daryl.
Abraham and
Sasha.
And then suddenly they all explode because Daryl had managed to subdue the guy sent to the back of the truck and takes out his rocket launcher. It was awesome.
Well, Vicki, let me just say that I might be over this show.
What are you talking about?
No, I am. Because
it was a great episode.
Before we go on any further, let's just say this is going to be spoiler-laden. So, if you didn't watch the show, watch it and then come back.
Everybody who's going to watch it is watching it.
Right. Our Tuesday fans.
Yes.
There was a moment in that episode when they were walking with the zombie guts on them.
Yes. As we discussed.
And, we watch a little boy get eaten to death by zombies.
A really annoying little boy, so I was like, awesome! Go on.
And then, Carl gets shot.
Well, you missed the two annoying people who got killed in between.
Sure. But by the time Carl turns it around with his eye, I said, you know what? I don't think I can keep doing this.
Why?
Because every week now, it's kind of like only about survival. And, when it's only about survival, I kind of lose something. At least when they were on the farm, it was about survival and the people. So I'm kind of taken out of it now when, we had the whole Glenn thing last year. At this point, I really don't care if Glenn lives or dies anymore. They already pulled the rug out from under us. So I'm a little angry with the show.
I remain angry with the show. I was reading in Entertainment Weekly. I can't remember if it was Robert Kirkman or Scott Gimple who was trying to dismiss all the hatred over the Glenn storyline by saying, oh, well, people pay too much stuff into the stuff outside the show, when they are the ones who plant the stuff outside the show.
They took his name out of the credits.
So screw you.
Right.
Okay, I was really offended by that. And when it looked like they were about to kill Glenn again, in this episode where he's cornered and he manages to miraculously get out of it. You know what? I think what really annoyed me about Glenn is that they were trying to be sort of highfalutin about it. Oh, we're going to put you where Maggie was and you don't know what happens. That's not what the show does. That's not what the show is. That's not how the show succeeds. It succeeds by having these scrappy survivors survive, as we saw several times in this particular episode, which I thought it was so good. But I understand, going back to your point, where you're coming at, it also has to be about trying to build a society from the ashes. And there was none of that in this episode.
Vicki, when the clan got all Kill Bill with the zombies at the end.
I like that.
Okay. I mean, it was okay.
Artistically, I thought it was really interesting, but wasn't totally removed from the show.
Completely unbelievable. There was too many zombies. They would have all been dead.
I agree with that.
It was ridiculous.
I agree with that.
But cool, but ridiculous at the same time.
But my point is, like, the show is cool but ridiculous, and when it tries to get real, like the Maggie Glenn thing, it's when I think it falters.
Well, all I'm saying is I don't know how much more of this, like, misery I can take.
Well, there's more misery because of Negan.
Well, and that's just it. I mean, now we have another bad guy.
Another big bad. Apparently I read the comic, so he is the baddest of the bad.
And then we had the governor, now we have Negan, and then it'll be someone else in a year and a half. I mean, at what point do we say, enough's enough?
This is what the show is, though.
Okay, well, then maybe I've reached my point.
I think you guys are going to have to agree to disagree.
I guess that happens a lot with us, especially about like where we go for lunch.
True.
But, no, I mean, I loved what they did. I thought it was a really good premiere. I hope they do interesting things with the show going forward, but as a premiere, it was exciting, it was tense. They got rid of a lot of, like, baggage from last season. I actually do have a little bit of a problem with how they got rid of the wolf, who Morgan didn't kill him the first time, Morgan didn't kill him the second time. He managed to escape from being the prisoner in the garage. He sort of has this very mini redemptive arc where he's trying to save the doctor, the nurse, whatever her name is. I can't remember her name, but played by the great Mary Weber. And then he gets shot by Carol. And it's like, okay, and we never really figure out who the wolves are to begin with. Right. Are they working with Negan? Are they not? It's very confusing. So I thought they shed a lot of excess weight this episode.
This episode should have been the mid-season finale, by the way. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
So we can agree to disagree.
All right, well, that's where we're going to leave it with you two on The Walking Dead. Of course, we'll be talking about it a lot more as the season progresses. But now we're going to move on to my favorite topic, Shondaland. So, Vicki, I forced you to catch up on Shondaland.
Yes.
Because
you did.
I need someone to talk about this.
I did my homework last night.
I'm so glad. I've been a #1 Grey's Anatomy fan since the beginning. Watched every single season. I've also watched every season of Scandal, and I watched How to Get Away with Murder.
But you told me which one I could skip.
I did, because I didn't think Scandal was that good.
Okay, so I skipped it.
I thought it was a little ridiculous, and I can just fill you in really quickly on why I thought that was ridiculous.
Please.
So, Jake.
I know Jake.
Oh, so hot. The one that I want Liv to be with. She's still sleeping with him now that she is no longer with Fitz because she had the abortion.
He's the Ducky, basically, of the relationship.
Oh, but he's so hot. And so she's still sleeping with him. He lives with her father, which is like, what?
So he's sleeping with her at her house, I hope.
He's sleeping with her at her house. However, he lives with her father, and the father called him his son, which gave me like icky feelings of incest between these two, although I didn't have those same icky feelings of incest between, who was it?
I don't know. We had this conversation.
We did have this conversation, but anyway, even though they're not actually related. And then the big twist in the episode, Fitz made Jake the head of the NSA, which is like, how does that even happen? I was like, wait, what?
No background, no confirmation hearings, nothing.
This shady guy.
There's no journalism.
Who worked for like some clandestine organization is now the head of the NSA, and it's like no one thinks this is weird.
Well, this is Shondaland.
It is Shondaland, so that sort of took me out of it. So I was not impressed with that episode of Scandal. However, Grey's Anatomy, in the episode that aired, Meredith was attacked by one of her patients and suffered some really serious injuries. You watched.
I did watch.
And what did you think about that?
I actually really enjoyed it, possibly because nobody was talking for much of it. No, I actually did enjoy it. Enjoyed it,
as much as you can enjoy mass suffering.
Yes, mass suffering. I thought Ellen Pompeo did a great job, like total Emmy reel there. I thought it was a good episode about, recovering from trauma. I know that there were a lot of, like, metaphors in this and a lot of stuff that I missed because I do not watch the show regularly. But I did enjoy it. Again, like I say, not really enjoyed it, but I thought it was good, and it did, like, exactly what Grey's Anatomy used to do for me. It gave me that, like, tender moment where my eyes
It's studio accident. I love it. Not unlike Meredith Grey's accident.
Yes. Where it made me feel. It made me feel, Erin.
It did.
It did.
Well, that's what Grey's
effective.
Anatomy does. That's why I love it. Yeah. Now, I sort of brought this up to you. I am really growing tired of seeing female lead characters on shows that have been around for a long time be constantly brutalized and victimized. So this was not Meredith Grey's first time at the rodeo.
Beaten up rodeo.
Yeah, the beaten up rodeo. Let me just remind you of a few things, and this comes from Entertainment Weekly. Don't forget, in season 2, episode 16, she held a bomb inside a patient's body. Remember?
I love that episode.
All right.
See, and I don't really think of her, by the way, as being brutalized in that one. I thought she was heroic.
Okay, fine. Season 3, episode 14, she was exposed to toxic blood.
Okay.
All right. We have season 9, episode 20. We found out that she has the Alzheimer's gene, which her mother had, and which, by the way, no signs or symptoms yet.
Thank God.
That we know.
She's a little young for it.
Yeah, she is, but season 3, episode 16, she drowned.
Yes.
I mean, like actually,
she sort of chose to drown, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
Did she choose to drown or not, or whatever?
No, I think she chose to drown too.
Was she in the plane crash?
We didn't get there yet.
Okay.
Season 6, episode 24. She told a gunman to shoot her because she was being so heroic again. Whatever. Season 8, episode 24. She was in the plane crash. Now, you asked me before the show started, how did she come to own the hospital? And I said, well, all the people in the plane crash, that was Meredith, Derek, Arizona, Christina Yang, Mark Sloan and Lexi. Mark and Lexi both died, but the other doctors kind of sued the hospital. I think that's how it happened, and then they bought it. So that's how that happened. She underwent a C-section during a blackout. I mean, can this lady catch a break? And then she was attacked by this dude. Then, as EW puts it, she nearly died from humiliation when Addison Gray showed up after she slept with her husband in season 1. I thought that was pretty amazing. By this EW writer, Christina Everett. That was pretty funny. But I just feel like something's always happening to Meredith Grey. Also, something's always happening at Seattle Grace.
Well, it's just like ER. Something's always happening to everybody in these shows, which is kind of one of the reasons why I eventually get exhausted and tune out.
Right.
I actually don't think, like, as a I didn't really look at this as she's being brutalized because she's a woman. I think that, if this had happened to Owen or Alex or somebody like that, it could have been like the same sort of story arc.
I guess.
So I didn't think it was really a woman thing, and certainly there are plenty of shows out there where women are routinely raped, assaulted, brutalized.
That is correct. But I'm not saying any woman. I'm saying the lead
Meredith.
female character. Because the same thing happens on Law & Order SVU. And yes, I know what SVU stands for.
SVU stands for something, yes, which is why I don't watch it.
However, Mariska Hargitay has been brutalized on that show so much. And I'm to the point where, like, I just can't stand to see it anymore. And 5 weeks ago, in an episode, she went to visit, like, her neighbor's house or something. And it turns out that woman was being held captive. So they pull in Mariska, and the guy starts, like, hitting her in the face because she was talking too much, and I just could not take it anymore. We already had that episode, that whole season 2 years ago.
Pablo Schreiber?
With Pablo Schreiber.
Who was terrible.
From Orange is the New Black.
Where he's also terrible.
As he plays Mustache? Wait, Mustache?
He plays Pornstache.
Pornstache! Yes. Thank you. Where he basically kidnapped her and held her her hostage until she escaped by like kicking his butt. But I cannot. I just don't know if I can watch anymore. And I think that
so you're going to stop watching SVU,
I
but not
haven't
Grey's
watched
Anatomy.
it in 5 weeks. I haven't watched it in 5 weeks. I just don't know if I can take it. It really upsets me because you grow fond of these characters, and then you see them brutalized and victimized all the time.
The interesting thing about the Law and Order thing, and as I said, I really do not. I mean, I've watched an episode of SVU here and there, and actually, I was a little sucked into the Pablo Schreiber episode because one of the reasons why I don't watch them is they're procedurals, and I would much rather see deeper character work, which I don't think you really get there. And when you have Mariska Hargitay dealing with this kind of stuff, that is the stuff that draws me in. But like Ice-T, is that the one who's on SVU? Like, have him be brutalized. I mean,
exactly.
Like, spread the wealth a little bit.
Spread it around.
Yeah, Elliot Stabler's gone now, right?
He's been gone, yeah.
Okay, so who's the new guy on the show? Like,
well,
have him be...
They had a new guy for a couple years. I can't remember his name right now. And then he left last season. Now they have another new guy, but,
Maybe it's just time to pull the plug on the show.
No.
Why not?
Because there are so many stories to be told.
In the city. 8 million of them.
Exactly.
Dun, dun.
Exactly. Well, that was Grey's Anatomy. I thought it was a really great episode. Oh, fun fact. Episode was directed... Wait, I'm going to get this totally wrong, but I think I'm correct. Was directed by Denzel Washington.
Oh, really?
I believe
Good for
so.
him. I like the direction. I like the way it was done. They didn't show a lot of the violence. It was all from behind the blinds.
Blinds. That is correct. That is correct. I thought they were going to leave Meredith just lying there for hours, but
which would have been ridiculous
happen.
Because you were in a busy emergency room. That would not happen.
Right. That would not happen. But I thought it would have. Because I know this show so well, and I was like, "Oh, they're going to leave Meredith, and everyone's going to be busy with." And
it was a whole wasn't there I think there was a photo or something where she's lying there, and it looked just like was it Lucy from ER when she's bleeding out on the floor? Like,
by the way, one of the great episodes
ER.
of ER, in my opinion. Not in
okay. You're not checking on Denzel.
I am checking on Denzel, but you don't agree about the ER episode?
No, it was a very good episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but again, ER was also. I also stopped watching after a while because there are just so many times you could be attacked by a helicopter.
Well,
Dr. Romano.
With the arm?
Twice.
I love Grey's Anatomy, but ER is really good. ER is like one of the best hospital dramas.
It was. It was exhausting. I get tired of it.
It was. Yeah. I agree. Yes, the episode was directed by Denzel Washington, so
Denzel.
Yeah, Denzel.
Okay, now next, How to Get Away with Murder.
Oh, yeah.
I really liked the show when it began,
and
I was never enamored of this particular murder mystery with the rich parents being killed and the two adopted kids being the suspects.
What did I ask you the other day? I was like, I don't understand. Or I asked someone. I was like, I don't understand what the murder is this year. Like, is it the murder of the parents?
Yes, you asked me. It's the murder of the parents. And now I'm just like, how long can this go on? Where there's like this, they're going deeper and deeper into Wes and
Annalise.
And thank you. I'm like Viola Davis and Annalise's backstory, which is somewhat interesting. And it just seems to me like it's all about giving Viola Davis like Emmy moments without makeup.
Please,
and
that's what I said.
And that's it.
She spends like the first 20 minutes of the show sans makeup. Which look, I don't wear makeup, so I'm not one of those people. But you just felt like they were screaming, give her an Emmy, give her a Golden Globe, come on, she's not wearing makeup. And it's just like,
it's gotten just way too complex. And I've been a big fan of the alternating, the timeline switches. But it's like 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago, 7 days ago, 4 days ago. It's like enough. I cannot keep track of this.
And they went into the future too.
Did they go into the future?
They did. It was like 5 weeks later after she got shot.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
So yeah.
But then they were flashing. It was very confusing.
And then there was the baby that wasn't there,
which actually I liked. I like that.
You did.
So yeah, I mean, it's like I'm kind of interested in seeing where they're going with Wes and Annalise because they've been hinting at it since the very beginning. We found out that Annalise was pregnant when Wes was 12, so presumably Wes is not her baby. But who knows?
I was very confused about that whole
It is
thing.
very, very confusing.
And I need answers this season. Like,
Yes.
I don't, if they don't answer these crazy questions this season, I don't know if I can watch a season 3.
Yeah, and it's like, and the courtroom stuff has always beggared belief. I mean, the fact that these things just come to trial so quickly. I mean,
Right.
this is the thing with like all legal dramas, really. But then she gets up on the stand and she says that Catherine told her something, told her that she didn't do it. They're like, oh, she broke privilege. I'm like,
Right.
yeah, to say that she didn't do it.
Right.
I mean, like I just.
The whole thing has become totally unbelievable, and it's just not that interesting. Honestly, it's really not that interesting. And I will admit that I secretly hoped Annalise would die after she got shot.
Well,
I
that
really
wasn't gonna
did.
happen.
I was like, maybe Viola only has it in her contract that she's going to be on the show for X number of episodes, and then her character would die, and then we can just start all over.
It just seemed to be the kind of show that really is like a 1 season or maybe 2 season show, and then just wrap it up, get out of there.
Agreed.
Because you can't keep getting away with murder.
A
Because
limited event series.
eventually you're a serial killer, and people usually find serial killers.
Well, Annalise has never killed anyone. Let's be clear.
we don't know that she's never killed anybody.
Correct. From what we've seen,
Yes.
she hasn't. Well, she reminds me of Kilgrave on Jessica Jones, who he always says like, I've never killed anybody. I mean, I've ordered other people to kill. It's
not the same thing.
I've never killed anybody. I think that's like Annalise. Well, are you going to continue to watch How to Get Away with Murder, or are you going to leave me to suffer in silence by myself?
I don't know.
Oh man! All right. Well, if I find out anything else about Wes and Annalise, I will fill you in right here.
You're going to keep watching
on
it?
this podcast? Yes, because I am
then I'm not going to. You will just fill me in.
Let me tell you something.
Tell me if it gets good again.
I have watched The Vampire Diaries for like every 6 seasons, 7 seasons, however long it's been on. I just quit.
Wow.
I know, because my DVR wasn't recording it, so I was like, oh, that's a sign from the TV gods.
Wow, that is a sign from the TV gods.
So I stopped watching. But yeah, I'm usually loyal to a show.
Wow.
I know. Something that you watched that I also tried to watch.
I made you.
You
Quick pro here.
watch was Vinyl, which premiered on HBO over the weekend. What did you think? Because I have my opinion.
I really liked it. I mean, it's a show set in the early 1970s, although there are flashbacks. The music scene stars Bobby Cannavale, Union City native, in your typical sort of bombastic Martin Scorsese anti-hero mode. I mean, there is a lot about the show that we've seen before on HBO. You know, period perfect drama, anti-hero, sex, drugs, rock and roll, blah blah blah. But I still thought it was very engrossing, very well acted, very interesting, great direction. It's the first episode is 2 hours long, and it's asking a lot for people who are not
A lot.
Yes, it's asking a lot of Erin.
Yes.
But I was in for it. I mean, I think I can't remember who it was, emailed me and said they thought it was like very bit padded and everything. And I agree, it didn't have to be a 2 hour long episode, but there were still some moments in there. I don't know if you got to the Andrew Dice Clay spoiler alert death scene.
Andrew Dice Clay is in this?
Yes, he's in it. He plays the record company. You surely
I was
Buck
barely
Rogers.
paying attention.
The guy with the weird sideburns. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that I was just like, oh my god! I was like screaming at the television.
Wait, how did he die? Spoiler alert.
So Buck Rogers, the head of who owns a bunch of radio stations, is angry at Bobby Cannavale's character, Richie Finestra, because I think Donny Osmond dissed him at some point. Donny Osmond is one of Richie's artists, and so he's really angry at Richie, and they just sort of get into it at one point, and they have a fight. And another guy's in the room, hits him over the head, and they think he's dead. And they're like, "What are we gonna do?" And then Buck Rogers gets up again, and then the guy, the guy just takes this like big heavy crystal vase and starts beating his head up so you can see the head like cave in, like Walking Dead type. Oh my god!
Gross.
And it was just so surprising and very, very exciting.
Very Sopranos.
Yes, it was really good.
Look, I couldn't make it. I tried. I think 15, 20 minutes in, I was tweeting at you saying like, I can't watch this. Like, I'm just not into it. And I don't want you to be offended, but maybe it's a generational thing.
A generational thing?
Yeah, because you're just slightly older than I am, and I just wasn't into it. Like, maybe it was.
So you're saying that the older generation likes quality television, the younger generation does not?
I'm just saying I'm not into the 70s music scene. That's not my decade of music.
I was born in 71. good.
Correct.
Okay?
So
I'm a
that
Cyndi
means that
Lauper
when
person.
listen, because that means that when you were a teenager in the 80s,
Yes.
you were still familiar with the music from the 70s. Like when I was a teenager in the 90s, I still really love the 80s. Like I love Madonna. I love 80s pop music. So maybe if the show was around the 80s, I would be more into it. But because
I
it's around the 70s,
I can tell you this, like, I was certainly not into the New York Dolls. I was not into a lot of the people who were in this show, believe me.
But there was a lot of like R&B type pop.
You know, I wasn't terribly into Led Zeppelin.
Okay,
I mean,
fine.
I don't
I'm
think
just
that's
saying.
It's not like I was reliving my youth
I don't know if younger
in
people will
diapers.
watch. Not that I'm calling myself young, but I am younger.
Yes, you are younger.
Okay.
But no, I really don't think there's any like leftover nostalgia from like 1973 when I was 2 years old.
Vicky's ready to murder me right now.
I just don't think that's true.
But I just wasn't into. I wasn't into the long musical scene, like music scenes, where they let like an entire song play. I fast forwarded through that crap. I was just not feeling it.
You saw the scene in the beginning where he goes into the club and he sees the New York Dolls, the very Buster Poindexter, David Johansen. There's a callback at the end of he continues with the scene at the end of the episode, and it actually leads to what happened in real life, which is that the club collapses around him. It's a real life thing that happened in the Mercer Street Art Center or something. And when it's happening, it is such a primal scene. And Bobby Cannavale is so good in it. It really just sold the whole show for me. He's sitting there and he's listening to this music, and he plays a guy who's getting ready to sell his record label to this soulless corporate, polygram German whatever. And he gets reignited by the music, and he's listening to this music. He's getting excited again, and he does this thing, I wrote about it, where he bares his teeth. And it's like he's either like, it's just so savage, and it was such a wonderful moment. I was like, I'm in for the long haul on this one.
Well, you can keep me posted because I'm not in. So we both have our things. I'll watch How to Get Away with Murder. You'll watch Vinyl. And they may be discussed on this program.
Okay.
I'd like to hear from our listeners. If you watched Vinyl and you had thoughts about it, send us an email. TV Hangover Show at NJ@advancedmedia.com, or tweet us at TV Hangover Show, at E_meds, or at Vicki High. Now we get to my favorite part of every podcast when we do it, the Bachelor quiz.
At least I don't have to watch it.
You don't have to watch it. And this is an extra special Bachelor quiz.
Why? Oh, because it's the Bachelor at 20?
I don't know. Is it?
Has it been 20 years? I saw that there was a special. I didn't watch it.
There was a special. It was a 2-hour-long special, and I watched the entire thing. Can't say the same about this week's episode of The Bachelor, which is why we're doing this special version of the quiz. All right, Vicki, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, this is a softball. The Bachelor franchise recently celebrated how many
20?
seasons? That is correct.
I can read TV guide.
Well, I didn't know if you were paying attention. Now, although The Bachelor has celebrated 20 seasons, how many Bachelorette seasons have there been?
Do I get a multiple choice?
Oh, yes, sorry. My bad. 7, 16, 9, or 11?
Okay, it's not 16.
Okay.
And I don't think it's 7.
All right.
I'm going to say 9. 11?
It was 11.
Okay, I was close.
You were close. You were close. All right. Jade and Tanner got married on the Bachelor 20 special.
Oh, did they? I'm
They
actually
did.
happy for them. I'm sorry.
Then you know the answer to this question.
I'm sorry. They were from Bachelor Pad, right? Isn't Jade and Tanner from Bachelor Pad?
Wrong answer.
You didn't pose the question yet. You didn't pose the question yet. You haven't posed the question.
Jade and Tanner got married. How did they meet?
Well, I don't know if didn't they meet on Bachelor Pad?
No.
Oh, they didn't? Okay.
I like that she still goes with the wrong answer. Even though
But I know who you're talking about, at least. Where did they meet?
I'll give you half a point for knowing who.
Thank you. I
we're
remember.
talking about.
I watched
But
the
you didn't-
entire season of Bachelor Pad.
You did not.
Under duress. I did. Did we not Periscope it every
Producer
single
Anthony.
week? Is this a
Producer
fever
Anthony,
dream?
Producer Anthony. I love that Vicki is doubling down on her incorrect answer that I've already told her is incorrect.
No, I'm not saying
Is this
I
typical
am not.
Vicki?
When Vicki thinks she's right.
No, I am not
truth
saying
can't
they
stop her.
necessarily met on Bachelor Pad, but they certainly were on Bachelor Pad.
They were not.
They weren't?
No, they were.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bachelor in Paradise. Sorry. Same thing. Same concept. Bachelor spinoff, I just got it wrong. They met on Bachelor in Paradise.
This is amazing.
They met on Bachelor in Paradise. You know what I'm talking about.
It doesn't matter. That's not
You
how
know
this
what I'm
works.
talking about.
Oh my gosh. I love it. You're still wrong. I mean, you're right.
I'm right.
You're right now, but you were wrong.
But you knew what I meant.
I did.
You knew what I meant.
Negative.
No, you knew what I meant. Because you know I'd only ever watched one thing, and it was Bachelor in Paradise. It was the only thing I ever watched. You made me do it. You knew what I was talking about.
Oh
Sorry.
my God. It's so amazing. So amazing. I love this quiz. All right. Moving on.
They did meet on Bachelor in Paradise.
That is correct.
Okay.
But you were still wrong. So which R&B artist performed at the wedding? Your choices are Neo, Seal, Mary J. Blige, or Usher.
Seal.
Ding, ding, ding.
Because he's got nothing else to do.
Well, Kiss from a Rose.
What? Come on.
That's
I mean,
true.
everybody else has had project. I love Seal. Okay, I have no problem with Seal, but he doesn't have that much going on right now.
Vicki just called Seal unemployed.
I did not.
You can certainly tweet that, producer Alyssa.
He's employed. He's clearly employed.
He was on the Bachelor 20 special. All right, final question. How many minorities were featured in the special? 0, 1, 5, or 9?
Well, there's never been a African American there's never been African American Bachelor or Bachelorette. Juan Pablo, I don't think qualifies as Latino or Hispanic because he's from Spain, right? Right.
That is true.
Do you see person of color or
minority?
Minority. Okay. 1.
And 0.
Okay.
0, okay?
Okay.
0.
There have been contestants, though,
I
right?
think my tweet was, this is the whitest wedding ceremony ever. Like,
but there have been,
but
okay.
they weren't there. That's the thing, is like, there have been some people of color on the show. We had Jubilee this season, Ben's season.
How far have they made it?
She made it like 5 or 6 episodes. Like, she was in, you know what I mean? But in other seasons, people have made it pretty far. There have been some Asian contestants, African American, whatever. They said all of the former Bachelor contestants were invited to this special Bachelor 20 shindig, and none of the minorities showed up. I mean, seriously. But maybe, who knows, there's a campaign to get Jubilee to be the Bachelorette next season. We'll see if that happens.
And on Unreal, there's a Black Bachelor this season, which isn't the same thing.
It's not the same thing, but Unreal is much better than The
it
Bachelor. And we will definitely be watching that this season. So, Vicki, that's going to do it for us today. I am happy that that you're so stubborn, because it pleases me immensely. If you like our podcast, don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and all the other places where you can find us. YouTube is another one. Follow us on Twitter at TV Hangover Show, at E_meds, at Vicki Hy, VICKIHY. And please, we implore you to send all your questions to our email address, tvhangovershow@njadvancedmedia.com. Until next week, Vicki and I will be watching TV.